Hello, greetings to everyone. This is my channel about English language. My name is Thales, and we're going to talk about human resources management. It's a series of videos about management, and it has a playlist right on this channel. Many playlists are available actually. You can study English vocabulary, English grammar, business English, and many other topics. So check it out. Today, let's get going with today's We were talking about many different things in our last video, and I've introduced the topic of policies, HR policies. What policies HR, human resources, have? Let me just increase the size of the things here. Okay. Human resources, and every company has different policies about workplace, discipline, vacation, dress, ethics, and internet usage. We will describe each of them very briefly so you understand what it is about, and make you think about your company. If it has any policy of this, probably it has policies. For example, is a well-regarded document that many companies have. I don't know if your company has. I remember for the last companies I worked for, I can't recall whether they had a formal written code of ethics. Some of them have, some of them express their ideas in their values, right? We have a mission statement, vision statement, and the values which the company believes in. Most likely the large companies, large corporations, they have such documents, but smaller companies, I guess they don't necessarily have one. Many companies, as I mentioned in my last videos, they don't even have a human resources department. They have a do-it-all person, right? The manager takes care of everything, from recruitment, selection, interviewing, compensating, dismissing employees, and takes care of the business as well. So what reality your company is in. Okay, so when we talk about workplace policies, we talk about behavior, right? Behavior, what is expected from an average worker to do, what practices you should consider, organizational culture, at what time you should clock in and clock out, for example, how should you report to the hierarchy in the company, whether you have access to the management or not. Some companies, they have managers which are not accessible. You can't talk to them, you can't interact with them, ask feedback and give feedback as well. And others, they are very open-minded about it, right? They have an open management policy in which you can access the management and talk about various topics. You can have some agreement and on what you are supposed to be doing, right? To agree on your goals, the performance, everything that is expected from you. Yes, most companies, modern companies, they have it flexible. They negotiate, right? But many other companies, they do not have a policy, such policy. But workplace policies is more broad than that, right? It's about flexi time. It's about a code of a dressing code, right? how should you dress, formal, informal. If you're supposed to go to the office every day, if you have some rituals involved, meetings, how you should behave in meetings, in everyday activity, how you should interact with your colleagues. And guess what? Most of these issues, they aren't written anywhere, right? They are tacit aspects of management, non-tangible aspects. And in order to learn how a company works, you should interact on a daily basis so you can see what happens, how people interact, how people report, how a person is supposed to do to report their tasks, their activities, the teamwork, how does it work in practice, many different aspects of workplace. You also have the layout of the offices, whether it's an open office in which everyone has access to everyone, or you have closed cubicles in which each person is stuck in a cubicle and you don't even see the person who is beside you, you don't interact. It depends on the activity, the nature of the activity, whether you are supposed or not to interact with your colleagues, or if it's a focused activity and you're not supposed to do it at all. In a focused activity, you have no interaction. It's a very technical activity, and you report the results for other people to evaluate and then give you feedback on what should be improved or not. Discipline process policy. Many companies have discipline. I guess every company has. Even if it's not written, depending on what you do, if you do something wrong, if you're working and you do something wrong on purpose, or if you're just inaccurate about what you're doing, either way, some companies give you a warning sign, a formal warning, or you get a reprimand from your management, and then the most severe discipline process that a person can go is to be dismissed, to be fired. But it doesn't exempt the criminal processes or civil responsibilities depending on what you do in your workplace. For example, you're not supposed to, to curse other people, to be extremely impolite to other people, or you shouldn't have physical reactions, right, to hit someone. It's not, no one accepts such activity. Prejudice towards minorities, it's already something to consider. Companies have evolved, right? In the past, many years ago, it was much different. And I already said that in one of my videos, my human resource videos, that the market demands a change, a shift in behavior. So the companies must show social responsibility, diversity in workplace, respect, and a sense of fairness, to treat everyone equally. That these are some fundamental values that every company, every modern company is considering. The discipline process policy, each company deals with it differently. They have it written somewhere, right? They have a standard document saying what you're not supposed to do, and if you do this thing, what penalty you should have, what is expected, how should your manager behave in case you do something wrong. The vacation time policy, some companies, they negotiate, right? The managers, they have this freedom to negotiate with employees the best period to take vacation, but ultimately, company can choose the period of vacation you want. Even if you choose, if you say, I'd like to take vacations this month, and the company, you select a specific month of the year to take vacations, you can split the vacation periods. I don't know if in your country how it works. In Brazil, at least, we have paid vacations. As far as I'm concerned, abroad, you don't have paid vacations. In the US, for example, I'm not so sure, but I've read some reports on that people, they have unpaid vacations, and it's a shorter period than they expect. So it depends on the country, the culture, the company itself. Some companies, they pay a whole salary, right? A whole income, a monthly income for vacations, as Brazilian law only stipulates that the company should pay 1/3 of the salary from, the reference is 1/3 of the monthly income from the employee. So vacation time, mostly negotiated or not. I know companies that they don't negotiate, and at the end of the period, you take vacation. It's like a mandatory vacation. And even I've heard cases of companies who don't allow people to have vacation. People sell their vacations, and they stack the periods of vacations they are worthy, and then they take vacations much later. Okay, this year you won't be able to take any vacation because of this, that. And I've heard people saying, I don't take vacation in a long time. It's been 4 years since I last went on vacations. Yes, I hear stuff like that. Dress code, it depends on the company, the nature, the business, the core of the business. For example, a lawyer's firm, right? A lawyer's advisory, or more formal consultancy agencies, they demand people to dress formally, right? With a black tie and stuff like that. And you can't just wear jeans and take a t-shirt and go to work. It's not allowed. They allow you to work on shorts even. You can work when the way you want. Even take pets to work. Some companies allow people to take their pets, to dress as they want, of course, within some limits, right? You can't go the way you want, any way you want. But some areas in the same company, for example, lawyers, they have to dress differently. When you are in high management, right, you work as a higher position in the hierarchy, you're supposed to dress differently, right? To wear formal clothes, expensive pieces of clothing, rather than the Commonwealth, right? The ethics, and most companies have a code of ethics, and the code of ethics talks about many different things, right? Including, for example, workplace policies, discipline, and how a person is supposed to behave. And it's not just a relation within the company, the employees, not only employees, but the stakeholders, right? Suppliers, consumers, and government, everything, right? Agencies, government agencies. The internet usage policy is another thing. Depending on the business, you aren't even allowed to use your smartphone. If you deal directly with the public, for example, you work for a restaurant or a fast food chain or a drugstore, just giving you some examples, a hospital, some businesses don't allow people to take the smartphone just to check on news or to distract themselves to talk to other people during work. So many say, oh, okay, you should keep your smartphone turned off during your shift. After you leave, you can turn it on again. I've heard some cases, for example, when we had Rock in Rio, right? A person who was working in a hotel filmed, right, with their phone camera, filmed some stars from the festival, right? Some famous people. Oh my God, it's him or it's her, and it's filming, and then the video became viral, and the company knew of this and fired this person, because when you signed the contract, you had strict procedures, strict code of behavior in which you were not allowed to take pictures or to ask for autographs from people who stay in hotels. They should be left as any other person, right? To have their freedom. Imagine if every famous person goes to a hotel and everybody from the hotel crew came to film to ask for autographs. So it's not allowed at all. So I've heard some news on TV that 2 people were fired because of this. Regarding internet policy, I know companies who allow people to have reasonable use of the internet. Of course, you're not supposed to access some forbidden websites, right? Some X-rated, not safe for work material with the computer from the company, to share confidential documents to other people who are not from the company. So the internet security needs to be tighter, and people need to be more mature in the way that everyone can access these materials and share, and not be able to share with outside, right? So most companies I know, they let the employee have some reasonable access. But nowadays, actually, it makes little to no difference, as everyone has a smartphone and you can access internet from it either way. But it's not because it's your smartphone that you shouldn't have reasonable use from the internet during your shift, during your time at work. Right? So as long as you deliver what's expected from you, it's okay. Okay, so here are just some examples, right, of policies company have. It's not an exhaustive list, but all of these in general are covered by either the HR takes care of it, or the communication departments, or even the information system department, right? The IT, the information technology departments already takes care of this. The size of the company influences how complex, how detailed these descriptions will be, whether you have a formal guide or not. Right? Smaller companies, they don't have a formal guide on any of this. Okay, so here we have a sentence that talks about compensation, right? So first we talked about policies, and now we will talk about compensation. The company needs to make sure that the compensation is fair. What is a fair compensation? It's a compensation in accordance of other companies. Many companies, they have some benchmarks, salary benchmarks, or compensation package benchmarks. You know, a person may not notice, but for example, this company offers you per month $5,000 per month, and this other company offers $4,000. It has a difference of $1,000, but the compensation package that this company has is stronger, so it's more attractive for people who have children, or for people who want to go further in their education. They have some stimuli to study more, or maybe even they have some flexi time. They can work from home. So many different features, different perks from HR, they must be considered. But the industry needs to make sure that compensation is fair. And I told you in previous videos that in selection processes, interviews and stuff, when you have a job advertisement, most of them, they don't show the salary. They don't show the income. And it's weird, but when I see some advertisements from the US, and I see from time to time, I'm curious about how people are paid in certain functions, administrative or support functions there. And you can see that they share how much they pay per year, right? The reference there is per year. Okay, so this position is worth $100,000. It's per year, right? It's not the net salary, of course. You have to deduct taxes, everything. But they give you a reference. But in Brazil, they don't say that. They say, okay, to be combined, right? To be discussed. And it's a difficult approach, because if your last job was a highly paid one, and you got dismissed, and you go to a job interview, and this person wants to know how much you are expected to earn, and you say, yeah, my last job I was paid this. Or maybe you don't say how much, but some companies ask. Some companies, they need some previous references from your last jobs, and they see, the HR and the company sees, oh, this person was paid much higher then we're willing to pay. So no, I will discard this candidate up front. It happens. It happens. Market is a difficult beast, right? It's a very difficult beast. And when you don't say how much you are expected to earn, or the company doesn't show how much, what the budget is for that position, because they know what the budget is. They have a plan, a career plan, and a set of positions in the company and how much each position is worth. They know, but they don't want to offer because they need to bargain, right? Maybe the person asks a price lower than the company is expected to pay, or maybe the company sees that the person demands more, but the company may see an advantage. Okay, this person is so much qualified that I will pay more than the median from the market, or I will pay more than I'm willing to pay. I will make an extra effort to pay more for this person. The compensation must be fair, according to the standards, to meet standards from the industry. And compensation doesn't motivate by itself, but it needs to be high enough to attract people, right? If you give a low perspective, a low compensation perspective, you're not most likely you won't attract many people to work for your company. So today we talked about these two topics. It's a shorter video, not short because it's almost half an hour long. Oh my gosh. But don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell to get the latest updates. I record videos weekly, most likely once, twice a week, depending on how I'm feeling. If I'm in a good mood, I record more. I'm just kidding. And then give a thumbs up if you enjoyed the content, and we will continue talking about human resources, English grammar, vocabulary. Don't forget that we have a free English grammar course available in my channel. Almost 800 videos already recorded, from basic to advanced, and the basic videos, they have explanations in Portuguese, so it's very easy to follow. We have videos for all English levels here. Okay, see you next video.